walls are thin, but the world is far. I'm tracing the light of a dead cold star. Through the open crack of a window pane comes a sound that cuts like a jagged grain. A burst of joy from the street below, a language of life that I no longer know. It's a distant laugh, a cruel bright sound, while I'm anchored here to the frozen ground. It's the heartbreak of hearing the party go on when your own inner light is already gone. Disappointment is the ghost at the feast, and loss is the hunger of a quiet beast. I remember when I used to breathe that air, before the shadows moved into my chair. Now I'm a spectator of the happy and free, watching a version of what used to be me. Being alone is a glass-walled room where the echoes of others deep in the gloom. Deep depression is a frequency I can't tune out, a static of sadness and a hum of doubt. The laughter outside is a physical blow, a reminder of seeds that will never grow. I'm a silent observer of a vibrant race with a hollowed out heart and a tired face. It's a distant laugh, a cruel bright sound, while I'm anchored here to the frozen ground. It's the heartbreak of hearing the party go on when your own inner light is already gone. Disappointment is the fog that I'm breathing in, and loneliness is the cage underneath my skin. Just a distant laugh, fading down the block, like the ticking of a broken heavy clock. They don't know I'm here, I don't know I'm here, just the echo. The evening light is a bruised shade of blue, bleeding through glass like a wound that is new. I've been counting the hours by the dust in the air and the way that the silence pulls at my hair. It's a heavy weight, this being alive when you're just a ghost trying to survive. I'm watching the world through a window tear, tracing the outline of someone out there. It's the heartbreak of seeing but never being seen, the vast empty ocean that's flowing between. Disappointment is assault on the tongue, and loss is the song that will never be sung. like a wish that was made with a worthless coin. I see lovers in coats in the rush of the crowd, while my loneliness sits like a suffocating cloud. Being alone isn't just an empty room, it's the way the walls hung with a deepening doom. If I shatter the pain, would I feel the cold? Or am I just a story that's already told? Deep depression is a window that won't ever open, a collection of promises that stayed softly broken. I'm a prisoner of glass, a spectator of grace, with a reflection I barely can recognize as a face. I'm watching the world through a window tear, tracing the outline of someone not there. It's the heartbreak of seeing but never being seen, the vast empty ocean that's flowing between. Disappointment is a salt on the tongue, and loss is a song that will never be sung. One more street down the cold hard pain, one more night of the same old rain. I'm still inside, nowhere to hide. Just a window I'm walking where the garden used to bloom. Now it's just a cemetery, a quiet room. My boots are heavy with the garden mud, and the chill is sinking deeper than my blood. I'm looking for the roots of something fair, but there's only tangled shadows in the air. And I'm standing on the wet ground, sinking slow to a darker place where the broken go. It's the heartbreak of a soil that won't hold a seed, the disappointment of a heart that forgot how to bleed. Loss is the water that won't ever drain, and loneliness is the only thing that's sane. The sky is the color of an old deep bruise, the kind of color that you never choose. I've been standing in this puddle for 1,000 years, watching the rain turn into frozen tears. Being alone is a landscape with no trees, just a hollow wind that brings me to my knees. Deep depression is a swamp with no way out, a thick black forest of a billion And I'm standing on the wet ground, sinking slow to a darker place where the broken go. It's the heartbreak of a soil that won't hold a seed, the disappointment of a heart that forgot how to bleed. Lost is the water that won't ever drain, and loneliness is the only thing that's saved. On the wet ground where the silence is found, it's pulling me down without a sound, sinking deep into the sleep of the wet ground. The moonlight is frozen on the bedroom floor, like a guest who forgot how to find the door. I've been staring at the dust in a static beam, caught in the throat of a silent scream. The world is spinning, but I'm standing still, locked in a winter with no winter chill. I'm just a still clock on a crumbling wall, waiting for the shadow of a hand to fall. It's the heartbreak of time that refused to move, with nothing to gain and nothing to prove. Disappointment is the rust in the gear, and loss is the only thing ticking in here. The coffee is cold in a chipped ceramic cup. I'm too tired to look down, too hollow to look up. Loneliness is a room where the air won't stir, a blurred out memory of the way we were. I'm a prisoner of now in a house of then, waiting for a heartbeat to start up again. Deep depression is a pendulum that's lost its swing, a heavy metal suffocating thing. I see the people rushing past the glass, watching the seasons and the decades pass, but I'm stuck at the hour when you said goodbye, under a permanent colorless sky. I'm just a still clock on a crumbling wall, waiting for the shadow of a hand to fall. It's the heartbreak of time that refused to move, with nothing to gain and nothing to prove. Disappointment is the rust in the gear, and loss is the only thing ticking in here. No more ticking, no more chime, just the weight of a borrowed time, stopped at the end, with no one to mend. Still seen the pavement where the street lamps die, under the weight of a charcoal sky. I looked for your footprints in the settling grit, but the world is a puzzle where I no longer fit. The gravel is whispering names I forgot, of the life that I wanted and the one that I got. I'm wandering down the center of Doubting Street, where the ghost of my pride and my shadows meet. It's the heartbreak of knowing that no one is home in the hollowed out city of the marrow and bone. Disappointment, it is the fog that I'm breathing in, and loneliness is the cage underneath my skin. Every window I pass is a flicker of gold, but the air in my lungs is a centuries-old cold. I'm a letter addressed to a house that's been raised, lost in a stupor, forgotten in days. Loss isn't a mountain you climb till you're through. It's the long empty road leading back to the you. Deep depression is a compass that only points down to the bottom of the lake in the middle of town. I'm standing on the corner of nowhere and never, wondering if lonely is a synonym for forever. The silence is a predator, the darkness is a wall, and I'm just a leaf waiting for the final fall. I'm wandering down the center of Doubting Street, where the ghost of my pride and my shadows meet. It's the heartbreak of knowing that no one is home in the hollowed out city of the marrow and bone. Disappointment is the fog that I'm breathing in, and loneliness is the cage underneath my skin. On Doubting Street, with aching feet, the pavement is hard, the soul is scarred. No turning back across the black, just Doubting Street. The mirror is a stranger I don't know, reflecting back the seeds I didn't sow. I'm sweeping up the pieces of the light that shattered in the middle of the night. My hands are shaking, trying to hold on to the ghost of a feeling that's already gone. I'm just holding fragments of a broken glass, watching all the years and the promises pass. It's the weight of the almost, the sting of the was, the silence that screams just because it does. Deep in the canyon where the loneliness grows, I'm carrying a grief that nobody knows. static's loud. I'm searching for a face in every crowd, but every path leads back to this same chair, breathing in the dust of a cold, empty air. Disappointment is a slow, steady leak, draining the words that I'm too tired to speak. The world is a theater with the lights turned down, and I'm the only actor left in this town. Losses in a moment, it's a permanent state of standing at the edge of a locked iron gate. Heartbreak is the anchor, the sea is the blue, and I'm drowning in everything I thought was true. I'm just holding fragments of a broken glass, watching all the years and the promises pass. It's the weight of the almost, the sting of the was, the silence that screams just because it does. Deep in the canyon where the loneliness grows, I'm carrying a grief that nobody knows. Just fragments, sharp edges in my palm, waiting for the storm to turn into a calm. But the pieces don't fit, and I'm losing my grip. Just fragments. Kettle whistles to an empty room, a sharp reminder of the sudden gloom. I trace the patterns where your shadow stayed, before the colors of the morning frayed. Now every hallway feels a mile long, and silence is the only honest song. I wear this quiet face like heavy stone, a secret language that I speak alone. It's not the crying, it's the hollow sound of watching every bridge burn to the ground. Disappointment is a freezing rain, and loss is just the rhythm of the vein. I reach for ghosts across the unmade bed, repeating all the things I never said. The world is moving in a frantic blur, while I am anchored where we used to be, where it's not a choice to be this far apart. It's just a slow erosion of the heart. They say that time will eventually heal, but time just makes the emptiness more real. A crowded street, 1,000 passing eyes, and not a single soul to hear the cries that I've buried underneath the practice grin, while the walls are slowly, surely caving in. I wear this quiet face like heavy stone, a secret language that I speak alone. It's not the crying, it's the hollow sound of watching it Just a quiet place in a hollow space, learning how to breathe with nothing left to leave. The light is gone, the dark goes on. The streetlights flicker in a rimming cake, counting every promise that you didn't break. Because you never made them, you just walked away, leaving me the wreckage of yesterday. I'm standing where the sidewalk meets the edge of gray, with nothing but the ghost of what I couldn't say. And I'm asking the sky for a reason to stay, but I'm only met with the rain's reply, a cold, steady washing of the light from my eye. It's the weight of the water, the salt in the deep, the secrets, the loneliness, promises to keep. Disappointment is a fever that won't ever break, and loss is the only thing left I can take. The kitchen table has an extra chair that gathers up the shadows and the heavy air. I've memorized the cracks along the ceiling tiles while I'm drifting across these internal miles. Heartbreak isn't a crash, it's a slow, quiet rust, turning everything I built back into the dust. They say the clouds will eventually clear, but the dampness has settled in everything here, in the fibers of my coat, in the marrow of my bone. I've mastered the art of being entirely alone. Deep depression is a tide that refuses to ebb, and I'm just a ghost caught in its silver web. And I'm asking, ghost caught in its silver web. And I'm asking the sky for a reason to stay, but I'm only met with the rain's reply, a cold, steady washing of the light from my eye. It's the weight of the water, the salt in the deep, the secrets, the loneliness, promises to keep. Disappointment is a fever that won't ever break, and loss is the only thing left I can take. Just the rain tapping on the glass, watching every shadow slowly, surely pass. No answer comes, the sky is dry. Just the rain's reply. porch light is flickering, a dying yellow glow, casting long shadows on the untrampled snow. I've been sitting in the hallway with my back to the wood, waiting for a miracle I once understood. But the street is a desert of concrete and tire, and my hope is a flicker in a drowned out fire. It's the heartbreak of a silent doorbell's ring, the heavy cold weight that the emptiness brings. I'm a house with no windows, a book with no ink, standing on the edge of a jagged dark brink. Disappointment is the dust on the welcome mat, and loneliness is the shadow where a heart beats sad. I've memorized the silence of the copper and the wire, a cold metallic graveyard of a lost desire. Deep depression is a visitor who never leaves the room, turning every sunset into a deepening gloom. I'm a ghost in a foyer, a stranger to the sun, waiting for a footstep that will never, ever come. Loss is the echo of a knock that wasn't there, a vibration of longing in the stale, stagnant air. I trade all the silence for a storm at the gate, but I'm just a prisoner of this quiet, cruel fate. Being alone isn't a choice, it's a permanent state of standing by a door that arrived far too late. It's the heartbreak of a silent doorbell's ring, the heavy cold weight that the emptiness brings. I'm a house with no windows, a book with no ink, standing on the edge of a jagged dark brink. Disappointment is the dust on the welcome mat, and loneliness is the shadow where a heart beats sad. No chime in this hollowed out time, just the brass and the years as they pass. The bell is still against my will, just the silent door and nothing more. I press my palm against the hollow of my chest, waiting for the rhythm put the ghost to rest, but the air is thin and the shadows are tall, and I'm just a figure painted on a crumbling wall. There's a gravity here that I can't seem to fight, a slow motion fall through the middle of the night. It's a silent heartbeat, muffled drum in the kingdom of the lonely. I've finally become the king of the ashes, the lord of the white, watching the stars slowly burn out in the sky. Deep depression is a sea with no shore, and disappointment is the lock on a heavy iron door. I walk through the house like a stranger in a dream, where nothing is ever as bright as it may seem. The loss is a blanket that's freezing and gray, tucked around the edges of a long wasted day. I'm a map with no ink, a book with no name, just a flicker of a light that forgot its own flame. They say being alone is a chance to find peace, but the noise in my head offers no such release. It's the heartbreak of knowing the world didn't stop while I'm hanging by threads from a mountaintop. A pulse without purpose, a clock with no gears, drowning in the weight of 1,000 dry tears. It's a silent heartbeat, a muffled drum in the kingdom of the lonely. I've finally become the king of the ashes, the lord of the white, watching the stars slowly burn out in the sky. Deep depression is a sea with no shore, and disappointment is the lock on a heavy iron door. Thump, thump, like a ghost in the hall, waiting for a hand to break the fall. But the room is still and the night is deep, just a silent heartbeat that I can't